join when and welcome to everyone. We will start since the time is already 2:30 and we want to finish at the right time. But today we decided that since we have seen so many amazing examples of employer branding in Estonia, we also like to give some examples from all over the world, from really big corporations and brands, maybe to inspire you. So here are some examples we will talk about today. We have here 10 different brands from really various fields, and we will share some insights, and maybe you will get some ideas what to implement also in your organizations. But before we start, maybe we introduce ourselves, and then we go and introduce all those amazing examples to you.
Hello, and great to virtually meet you once again. We haven't met before, and I'm Malaysia Sauer. I've been in business, sales and marketing pretty much for all of my life. For the last 5 years, I've added another passion for coaching and personal branding, and employee advocacy for me is a way to help people and companies really get to know themselves and their unique advantages, and then get all of the necessary resources, both internal and external, to share this with the world. And this is the reason why we decided to start this free webinars series on employee advocacy, because we are now writing a book or a step-by-step process how can every company can put the best practices into life in their organizations. So welcome, and I hope that you get some insights and inspiration from this webinar.
And my name is Evelyn. My passion is and has always been sales and marketing and branding. I have really long experience with corporate branding, but now also personal and employer branding. And of course, we help with Olesia different corporations, startups, also different leaders with branding. But since we have done now employer branding programs during the past 5 years, we decided that we have done mainly everything in Estonian, but since we have had so many customers who now are multinational and have talents in different countries, then we will do also some webinars this year in English. And please let us know if anything happens with audio or this pictures on the screen, because then it would be all smooth. And hope you will be active. If you have any questions or comments, we would love to have and hear those. And since most of you will see this as a recording afterwards, then you are really welcome also to write or contact us. You will see our contact details at the very end. And so today we will give you 10 amazing examples of employer branding, but we will keep doing these webinars every month. So next time, if you have time, again, 2:30, 15 of March, so exactly in 1 month. And we will then share our knowledge and experience how to successfully recruit brand ambassadors in different organizations. And then in April, we will then maybe talk in more details what there is to know about employee advocacy. But let's start with those amazing examples from different fields. So the first one we chose is actually Zappos. I hope you have heard about this brand. They are now part of Amazon already a few years now, but they started actually already in 1999. And they have, of course, as many of those brands, really inspiring founders. One of them who has been also in charge of the company and brand for many years is Tony Xie, and he has also written many books about customer service and how to wow your customers, but also employees. And I think that those leaders and founders also play a really crucial role in their employer branding. And I think that since they have had from the very beginning really strong value-based leadership, then this is something to do why they have also started with employer branding so early. So they are online shop for footwear, but customer service is something that have been in their really core nature from the very beginning. And of course they are from States, so you can say that this is really so like American dream, but they are what they are doing for their customers, but now also for employees, is really amazing. So they are actually building relationships with their employees, and something maybe to also take into consideration. What they are doing is they are having insider programs. So now they have already announced many years ago that they don't do anymore any job ads at all. So people just the ones who they recruit, they already know from referrals, but also from this insider program. So if you're interested in this brand, then you will be part of this program. And if something interesting, some position comes up, then you can apply, but they don't do like regular ads at all. And they are really good also in different social media channels and also sharing their values. So they have had these 10 core values, what you see on the screen at the moment, really long time ago already, and they have implemented it among their team, and also share it with the rest of the world. So they have really like open-minded culture and really diverse culture. And what is something special, that they also share their customer service experiences, and they really trust their employees. So they don't give them any script how to communicate with customers, but rather they inspire them and ask them to be themselves. And one amazing example, if you Google them, is one call from a customer service employee representative who talked with the customer 10 hours and 43 minutes to solve their problem, and this customer was of course really happy. So here you can see some channels that they are using, so you can check them out and also see, maybe you will have some inspiration from there. And this is one link that you can later on all maybe then explore. So this gives a little bit insight about their values and how they communicate them.
The way that we are selected companies to talk about today is based on two things. One, we tried to look at companies from both B2B and B2C, and we are specifically on purpose talk about big brands and big companies because everybody know what they are doing, and it's easier to perhaps come up with some memories about this brand, some perceptions about this brand, but it is also much more challenging for a big corporation to successfully implement employer advocacy. So all of those things that they have done on such a large scale give a lot of inspiration, and also shows a lot of possibilities for companies smaller than that. If we're talking about really inspiring cases, then General Electric is really my favorite. And not only in terms of employer advocacy, but also in terms of using social media in general. If we take into consideration that General Electric is a very old company and would be considered quite a boring company for social media, they have done an exceptionally great job across all social media channels, even before they started to actively engage their employees as brand advocates. But the reason for them to start and really empower their people to talk about General Electric, about its culture, and about the reasons why they have chosen to work for General Electric and why they're proud of working was based on the fact that at some point already 10 years ago, they had problems with getting new people because there were a lot of stereotypes and misconceptions about General Electric. And they decided to focus on one channel, mainly on LinkedIn, which is logical because it's a B2B company, and they decided that they will train their people not only on how to use LinkedIn, not only would they give them technical knowledge and then social media tricks and hacks, but they focused specifically on every single person and their personal stories. And this made a really big difference because we have seen that with the employee advocacy programs, if they are executed strategically, they can not only increase the visibility of the company on social media, but they can also increase the engagement and general levels of satisfaction of people. And this helping their employees to find their why and their passion really meant a lot for people inside of General Electric, and also sharing their stories online help the other people and other potential candidates to get to know the people behind the brand, the corporate boring brand, and relate to this company. So the main takeaway from General Electric, which we have seen times and times again work miracles in every organization across every industries, is really helping people find their personal meaning, redefine their job, and connect their interests and passions with the job. And once doing that, they become really passionate advocates, and they share even without being asked to do that.
So, and the next example, what we have to talk about is maybe the world highest valued employer brand at one point. So it's Google, who gets 3 million CVs every year. And there are so many examples and stories of those who are willing to wait like 5 years till they get finally to work there. And it's also calculated that the chance getting into this crew and team is 0.2%. And Google is also really famous, of course, that they have really good salary, but they have really inspiring atmosphere. And what they do really good is that they really develop their people, and you can really work among legends. But of course, there are also many maybe downsides at the moment. So people are quite criticizing them that they have really long recruiting process, and sometimes it seems even a little bit absurd. But this is also something how they have built up this employer brand. And what they also criticize is that also, like, for really simple tasks, they tend to hire really overqualified people. But of course, it's possible to grow inside the organization. So this is also one reason why so many employees then take this possibility if they get it, and then find something inside this organization. What they do really great, of course, they have many bonuses, and they have these employee funds, like tens of thousands of them. But of course, they are also officially awarded as one of the best employer brand in the world, and they use like really many different channels. So for example, in Instagram they have like almost like 1 million followers, and what people really appreciate is this self-development model. So there are so many researches that show that employees really appreciate employers who focus on their self-development. And Google has this 70-20-10 system where you can do like 70% normal tasks, but you take 20% of your work time and spend it and do like idea development, and then 10% you have to invest in yourself, whether you read a book or you learn something or do something. So this is really nice as well.
Yeah, and another great example comes from Microsoft. Once again, a very big company, well-known company, spread across the globe with many different employees, many different cultures, and there are a lot of inspirational things from this case study. If we're talking about Microsoft, then Microsoft took a step-by-step approach to engaging their employees, and this having pilots in different companies, in different parts of the company, in different countries, has proven a very successful way to launch and scale employee advocacy programs. So during their pilots, they had 40 countries and 5 languages, 12 channels, and they've scaled pretty quickly to 70,000 employees, which was just 10% of global workforce for Microsoft. But they haven't stopped there, because the interest from people towards this program has been very big. And then once again, if we're looking at the B2B companies, especially the companies that are working with technology, then in addition to regular employer branding sharing content like talking about values, and then showing the culture and showing what the type of people are working for the company. They are also showing and helping their people to really step on stage, to share what they love, to share what they know, and they are building strategically thought leaders inside of the company. And it is also interesting to see that there are a lot of very creative posts from their employees, which on one side go very deep into their business topics and the topics of the expertise, but at the same time showing their people what they care about, what they value. And there is a lot of engagement both from the employees as well as from people outside of the company. Microsoft also stands out with leaders. We can see that in many companies whose leaders from the very beginning start to lead by example, employees are feeling more empowered, and they are also more willing and ready to get on stage themselves. Both Bill Gates and Satya Nadella are using to the maximum the power of social media to connect and communicate with their main stakeholders, but also not forgetting about talking about their employees and highlighting those their successes and their stories. And Microsoft obviously shows all of the important cultural things that attract a younger generation especially, but they also invest in their people. And once again, this is one of important takeaways from Microsoft case is although from the very beginning employer advocacy is meant to empower people and to really strengthen employer brand, not many companies are focusing on people, on developing their people, and regard their presence on social media as a bonus. But Microsoft does, and one of very interesting initiatives is their soft skills program, which they launched to help get their employees inspired, help them develop skills that are necessary in today's world, that quite many of the skills that are not taught at school, but benefit significantly to the well-being of people, to the empowerment of people. And within these soft skill programs, they help people to find their passion, to find resilience, to find their why, to become better leaders, to communicate with people more successfully. And this program has been extremely popular among employees, and they now have 1 or 2 times per week different guest speakers, and they call it themselves a small Microsoft tech talk. There is a lot of positive feedback, and of course the features on social media, and also there are a lot of experts from different fields who are excited about this program and come to speak at those virtual events to share their knowledge and inspire Microsoft employees. So the main takeaways from this case, of course, shows empowerment and commitment to investment in your people. They also put a lot of efforts, successful efforts into building their own local and global opinion leaders and influencers, which is the next step of the employer branding advocacy programs, that you help your people to take the stand, to find their voice, and to become a known and go-to expert in the field. And as I've mentioned before, a very important role has played the fact that their leaders have acted as role models, taking stand, taking stages, both virtual, physical, and now more and more virtual, to inspire their company and to change the way that dialogue is happening in the industry and in the world in general.
So the next example, a really international one, is Marriott. Hospitality brand founded by a family, and now really big corporation, but still they have the founders on board. So at the moment, we'll give you later on one really amazing example of the granddaughter of this of those founders who is at the moment a really amazing spokesperson and active also on social media. So of course, if you are a hospitality brand, then once again, they have from the very beginning made clear that their values for their customers are really important, and to keep customers happy, of course, you have to also keep your employers really happy. All their employers around the world, they are memory makers, and also those brands, they have their own brands like Marriott and Ritz and Sheraton, which are all like well-known and really high valued hospitality brands, but of course they have also franchising partners at the moment. So it's more than 8,000 locations and 6,000 hotels and 30 different brands. So it's really amazing and really big team. And of course, all those people are purpose driven, and they also like to discover world themselves. So of course they also like traveling, and something what they have been offering for years now for their team is mobile careers. So it means that their people can change jobs between different countries. They can discover the world, discover different cultures and nationalities, and this is something that their team really then appreciates. And of course they also have really high employee satisfaction and really amazing numbers and many awards that they have won. But what they also have been really good at is gamification. So already 2012, I think they launched their first online game, which was My Marriott Hotel, and it gave their future potential employees a possibility to see what actually means running a hotel. So it was like a simple game, but it became like really popular. And of course they are also present in different social media channels. You can see their career pages everywhere, but this is the example I wanted to show you. This is Debbie Marriott Harrison, the granddaughter of these of those founders, and she is really active. If you Google her, you see her on different social media channels. She has really nice also humor, so she uses also modern channels like TikTok and channels like that, but she talks a lot about also values, their goals, why work at Marriott, and so on. So she's one of the greatest brand ambassadors for sure.
Once again, a very inspiring example. It's actually quite often when we're looking at different companies, we get this feeling, an overwhelming feeling of inspiration based on the things that we notice from social media. And this is one of the reasons why employer advocacy programs are so engaging and so empowering, that they help people who are not part of the organization to really get the feeling of who are the people who work for this company, what do they value, and what do they share. And in this respect, Dell and its social media can serve as a very good example of showcasing their internal company's culture, and the way that they see employee advocacy is based on the fact that they focus strategically on the organizational culture, and they make social activity a part of this organizational culture, ingrained into their culture. They also build a community, a strong community of employer advocates inside of the company, and they inspire them to share the way that they see the world and themselves, and delve from the inside. So we can see a lot of different diverse voices from Dell. As a picture from here, you would not normally see photos like that on LinkedIn, but this is just the way that Dell helps diversify the company's voice and really empower their people. And once again, if we're talking about the things that they do inside of the organization to help their people become the best versions of themselves, and also to share their experiences, is helping them on every step of their journey. So they focus a lot on educating their people, on helping people gain necessary skills, both technical skills as well as soft skills. And they also help their employees to find insights, to share insights, and this is also one of the companies who takes employee advocacy very seriously from the top. Once again, their leader is very active and has a very strong personal brand, which once again shows a very good example for the employees. And it's no coincidence, I think, that his book is called Play Nice But Win, which pretty much summarizes the way of doing business that is also portrayed and shared through the voices not only of the leader and the founder, but also of the employees. They invest a lot in trainings, and they actually have a very good long-term program for employee advocates. Once again, a program that can be easily scalable, and they are certify their most active employees who want to utilize all of the power of social media and to use it professionally to create strong thought leader brands for themselves and also to strengthen the position of Dell. And their social media university is very popular among people who work for the company, and people get a lot of opportunities to develop themselves and learn and practice new skills. If we're looking at the employee advocacy programs and what makes them successful, this continuous training of people is one of the most important things for people to get started, but also to constantly educate themselves and develop and become better, but at the same time to get on board also new people who are joining the company straight from the beginning. So we are looking at this example. If social activity is ingrained in the organizational culture, it becomes not a program for employee advocacy, but it becomes a part of culture, a way to empower the employees. And this has very significant positive impact on the way that people view the company, on the way that people view the role in the company. And of course, it also results in more active brand ambassadors on social media who know their subject, who know their company and are willing to share that. And Dell has a policy of 80-20, which means that encourage people to share 80% of their content around them and their interests and passions, and only 20 so-called branded content. Once again, also in Dell, passion and why and helping people to find their personal passions, to apply them to their work and find deeper meaning in what they're doing is very important. Once again, leaders as role models, not only at the top, but also middle management, a very structured program, a long-term program, which results in very big number of passionate brand ambassadors who grow themselves, educate themselves, of their people around them, and also attract potential people to come and join this company.
Yes, and maybe since Dell has such an amazing example as this social media university and training their brand ambassadors, then it's a good time to remind that our last webinar was about how to engage brand ambassadors and how 10 or 15 or 50 brand ambassadors can be even more effective than maybe 50,000 fans on social media. So we have seen how this really works. So these here are really big examples, of course, because it's easier to tell about big examples because you know the brands. But of course, we have so many smaller ones as well, which maybe have only 10 brand ambassadors and are with them already really successful. So the next example is also a really big brand. So I think there's no one who doesn't know or maybe even doesn't use this brand Netflix. So it's as a corporate brand, really big brand, but also amazing employer brand. So they are really international as well. They have many employees around the world, and they have an amazing amount of users. And also you can check out their hashtag via Netflix. They create a lot of content on different channels, but their motto is that they rather choose quality over quantity. So even if 1 month they don't have anything to post, then they skip it, and then they do it when they have something. So they are also really famous that they take social issues, some news, some problematic themes, and also discuss these, like for example, when there was this movement, Black Lives Matter, and stuff like that, then they are always like also responding. So of course they have many awards as well, but what their mission is also giving back to the community, and also this is what you see from different channels. And what is really amazing, that they also have their podcasts, and this is done by their employees. So they are sharing different topics, and encourage different people around the world, and also show their team and their people. And what is really good also is their career page. So if you are at this point that you want to change something, or I don't know, develop it, then also this would be a really amazing example.
I think that if we're looking at those different inspiring examples, then we can see that what they're doing and how they're doing it is different, and depending on their industry, depending on their type of culture and the people behind the brand. But what really comes as a silver lining across all of those examples is the fact that culture and people are at heart of every successful employer advocacy program. And we're looking at employer branding as a 360 degrees process, where there is a very important part of both company brand and employee personal brands, and at the same time a very important role of organizational culture and the way that other people outside of the company can see the brand. And nowadays it plays a very big role. Not only we inside the company know how terrific and awesome our team and the job is, but also that people who don't work for our company yet would get the same feeling. And this next example of Reebok and the way that they use employee advocacy is once again ingrained into their DNA. And Reebok is a sports brand, and then sport and physical activity is in their DNA. And this is also the way that they approach the way that they present their employer brand, which is quite interesting and can also attract exact audience with the same mindset, but also appeals to the customers of Reebok, who once again are motivated and inspired by not only buying Reebok shoes, but the bigger meaning behind that physical activity and movement. And what they have done in their social media, they tapped into this topic, and they tapped into the interests of their employees, and started to inspire and empower their employees to share what type of sport activities they enjoy. which once again is a very good product positioning, because once the employees are doing their sports on a regular basis, they are obviously also using Reebok products, and give this insider experience of what it is to do this or that activity in the Reebok footwear. What they are really doing is they are building their army of mini celebrities and influencers, and this is very smart choice, because nowadays the power of influencers is enormous, and the fact that they have not the influencers outside of the company, but they're growing those influencers inside of the company work very well, because people trust the employees, trust their experience, and they expect them to know more about the brand and the product than they would expect this from the outside influencers. They once again tap into passion personal passion of the employees, and they get to different audiences, because they have people who are doing different types of sports, and that they can really relate to the smaller audiences through their people's content. And once again, the authenticity of sharing is what really stands out. And this authenticity is always a byproduct of sharing passion and sharing the why. And I think that it's a very smart way to engage your employees. Also, if you want them to talk about products or services of the company, which can be applied to very many different industries, and also to the smaller companies, where it can actually be even more successful, because the less people you have, the easier it is to get all of them on board, and then have all of their values aligned with the corporate brand's values.
So the next example is Starbucks, also one brand that is widely known, and that we also use so many times for corporate branding example. But Starbucks, when we also see this success story, of course, they also started as a small company, but they grew and grew and grew, and now they already are in 80 countries and have like amazing number of different coffee shops, and what they have maybe similar to Sappos is that they have one amazing and inspirational leader, Howard Schultz. You can also Google him if you haven't heard about him. He has also written already 5 books, I think, and has built from the very beginning up also a strong company culture that was first used as the core for customer service, but now also works really amazingly for employer branding and sharing their values. So Howard Schultz, similarly to Sia, has been already like many decades in the company, and has been an amazing role model, and the spirit in different coffee shops, I think if you also have visited them, are always good. So people support each other, and you can see and feel really their values. But nowadays, of course, they use also all those social media opportunities, and in addition to their corporate social media accounts, they also have then those accounts that are related to employer branding, and then maybe give more insight how it would be to work in this kind of environment. So again, one really amazing example of international brand who is present in very many different countries, and in the field where people say that it's so hard to find really good talented workers, and they are really good at it. It pays off to maybe explore a little bit and see what they are doing. They also use YouTube, and they have their different themes presented by their amazing employees around the world. It can be related to, I don't know, mental health or something else, and also interesting to see. And of course, Howard Schultz is not only inspirational leader, but he is also really inspirational spokesperson, and also a brand ambassador. So he also uses different channels and gets their statement and everything outside as well.
Yeah, and our last example is Adobe, and once again, a company in the technological field, a big company, a successful company. What is interesting here is the fact that they are similar to Reebok, but in a very different way, focus on their employees, but with really main task for people for their own people to start influencers on the product matters. So they expect their people not only to share their experiences of working for Adobe, which of course is a very big part of their content, but they also expect their people to be active users of Adobe products, and to share not only their professional insights, but also their user experience. And this is a very good way to join the conversation online, which is happening around our companies and our products, whether we as a company are participating in it or not. If we take into consideration that all of, on average, employees have 10 times more users as an average company page, it means that they have very big personal networks to tap into. They also have very personal relationships with their people in their network. And once they are empowered with knowledge and tools to start educating and actively engaging with their audience, they can not only promote the company as a good place to work for, but they can also educate potential and existing customers, which results in very good results in terms of sales leads, and it also results in higher levels of customer service. The way that they present the program to their employees focuses on three things. Focuses on the personal story of joining and then working for Adobe, on very strong encouragement to use the products and then sharing the experience, and also once again the social activity in involvement in everything that Adobe is doing is of great importance. And if I look at different employee advocacy programs, then we often look at the ways how different companies are motivating people to continue their efforts on a long-term basis. And in this case, Adobe does a lot of interesting things to motivate their people, but also to create a healthy competition inside of the company. And they once again smartly use the inside rewards to show the way that they treat their employees and the way that employees perceive the company. Once again, Adobe also started with the pilot program and then scaled bigger. Nowadays, in pretty many companies, there is a new approach to the employee advocacy programs, and the trend is to involve more and more employees from the whole organization. So in the beginning, companies focused on so to say elite groups of brand ambassadors, but the real power of employee advocacy is getting all people in the company on board, using their individuality and finding the ways that each person can make impact in the format that is suitable for him, and also utilizing the individuality. It also is very important in terms of trainings and the way that training programs are structured, so that they are custom made, and then they really focus on developing the strengths of each brand ambassador. And if we look at all of those different examples, then we across all of those cases, we would see very big focus on employees, and we believe that this is one of the most important success factors in the employee advocacy programs. And we see a lot of effort which is put into training people, giving them knowledge, helping them to stand on stage and then develop themselves as thought leaders, as influencers. And we also see trust which companies, big companies, put into their people, which seems logical if you think about this, because in social media we can't control the conversation, we can just participate in the conversation. It is not possible to check every single post that the people from the company are doing, but we can help them align their personal values with the values of the company, and help them find their unique voice and their unique place inside of the organization as a thought leader, as a brand ambassador. And there is also a very interesting formula to check the possible social reach that employer advocates can have. And I've just checked this site, and it seems that Hootsuite has changed the link. So when we were sending the recording, we will send you the correct link. But what it really shows that just a small number of employees can have a very big increase in the visibility of the company. On average, if company starts employee advocacy program, and if employees start using their own social networks, the expected growth in visibility is 561%. But but I will share with you my last experience with 9 brand ambassadors on LinkedIn, and the visibility of the company grew by 1,141%. This given the fact that the employees, the brand ambassadors, have been minimally but consistently visible on the channel, and they were talking about things that matter to them. They were talking about different subjects which are important to the company, which also not resulted only in bigger visibility, but also gave a company possibility to highlight different parts of the industry that they are working with, using very many different voices from inside the company, and once again resulting in more engagement from both the brand ambassadors themselves as well as from other people in the company. So our experience in Estonia and Baltics and some Scandinavian companies actually show that the results are even much better in the local markets with smaller number of employees than the statistics that we have on the global companies.
So yes, to sum it up, we had 60 minutes and we showcased you 10 global and award-winning examples, but of course there are many more, and it seems that big corporations are using already many years successfully employer branding programs, but there are also so many smaller ones who are really successful, and as you see from those examples and this chart that Olesia also showed, that you don't need to have like 10,000 brand ambassadors to really make a difference, but you can also have like 10. And already you can see the change. So what we can like see that are similar in each of these cases, that they are really focusing on their employees. So this is also one reason why we all the time take into consideration also employees' personal brands, because then you can create a win-win solution. So your employees, of course, help to share your story as a company or corporation or organization, but you also can help to develop them. And this is something that they really appreciate. Also, we see that training programs are really necessary, because people use social media so differently. Usually these fears and obstacles come from those reasons that people don't just have those tools, don't know how to use it. Maybe they are a little bit insecure, and then they choose not to do anything. Empowerment, of course, I think this is one of the most important things, and also involvement of managers. So we see also from smaller companies that usually there are amazing HR people or marketing people who are implementing brand ambassador programs, and there are different ambassadors from different departments and level, and this is amazing already. But you also have to involve managers to have this credibility, and to have them also as role models, and to have them on board. So this is something that we also will have one webinar about, how to involve then managers as well. And of course, to cultivate opinion leaders, this is also related to personal branding, because if people can create and develop their own personal brand and become well-known experts in their field, then this is something that that is important to them, but it also is so beneficial for the company. And to find then your why, your passion, this is really strongly connected to work satisfaction and also productivity, because we see that if people are not happy at their workplaces, they are not so productive. If they find their why, if they find their passion, maybe they will change the organization, but you will get someone who is so passionate, and the one who left, they also find a better and suitable place for them, and they will be happier, they will be productive, and this is a win-win for everyone. So here once again are all our webinar themes and dates and also times. So if you see that some theme is interesting for you, then put it on your calendar, and you are welcome to join from the same link you joined today. And we also record each and every webinar. So if you were not able to join in January, then but it's interesting for you, then of course let us know and we can send you this recording. And of course, if you have any comments, any questions, then you are welcome to contact us, or the ones who are present, then of course we are more than happy to discuss this with you. So thank you.
Thank you very much for the ones who are here, for the ones who are listening to the recording, and really hope that those bigger examples are inspired you to take small steps to bring some of those initiatives into your company, and really maximize the potential of your employees inside the company and outside of the company. And then we see this more and more, that brand ambassadors and employee advocacy programs can be so much more than just a very powerful sales and marketing tool, but also a very important tool in helping with well-being and overall job satisfaction inside the company. And one of the researchers that really inspires us to do our work is Gallup statistics that shows that 85% of global workforce is actively disengaged or you can say hating their job. And we see that employee advocacy programs can be a very good and powerful solution to reverse these statistics, so that more and more people could really be doing what they love to do, and create win-win situations for every parties involved.